Hey guys, how's it going? This is Ability here, and in this video we'll be maging the entire Omni Iop set, and this is a 12 AP, 6 MP, 5 range set. It needs 3 1% exos, an MP exo, a range exo, and an AP exo, and it is a critical damage based set. It has 201 critical damage as well as these base damages sprinkled in. It has 370 power combined with these base stats here. It's a little bit low on chance and high on agility, but that's alright. It has 3 set bonuses: the Omni set in its fullness, the 2 pieces of Treadfast, and 2 pieces of Turtelonia set. It has a lot of initiative, however, I ended up dropping that initiative down to be the lowest on the team since I want him to go after the Heliotrope, because as you can notice, this set has very low HP for a level 200 set, and that's due to the Omni set. It's a very low HP set, and so if he goes after the Heliotrope, then he can stay far away from the combat and use the portals hopefully to deal all of his damage and kill anything before it can walk through the portals. So that is the plan for this IOP, and now that we've seen the set laid out, let's move into maging the first item. So this mage is actually from the Chance Pandawa mage video. This exo took 3 tries, and we can move on to the next item. So for this Harish bracelet, I wanted to put a critical damage transcendence rune on it because it does not naturally give critical damage. I decided to mage it with only 1 range on the item so that I could get maximum stats easier, and that's because there would be 0 range on it when I'm putting the stats on. So there I crit both range back, and it's only missing 5 vitality. I could have had 300 vitality if the first initiative rune took 6 vitality, however it did not, and I'm throwing the remaining sync at paw vitalities and then a couple smalls. None of them end up landing, so this is these are the final stats of the ring before I transcendence rune it. It would have been nice to have 300, but it's only 5 vitality, so who really cares? And here I put the transcendence rune on. It came out pretty nice, and we can move on to the next item. So for this Treadfast amulet, I wanted to put spell damage exomage on it, and I could have gone for a vitality overmage. However, I decided along the way not to do vitality overmages and just go for more damage. I don't know how that'll play out. I might regret that. Maybe I'll go back later. But here the first spell damage lands, and then the AP critical is back, and we can move on to the next item. So the range exomage on these Omni boots was actually not very intentional. I was just trying to drop the MP when I threw the range rune at it. However, I was actually in a voice call with Misha or Mayu, the second person on this channel, so I'm going to play that audio clip here.
Thanks.
Oh, I just range echoed the boots.
You serious?
Yeah.
Send a picture?
I mean, they're good stats. So that exomage was a little bit of a surprise, however I decided to keep it because if I ever move this set to another character, it will be useful, and we can move on to the next item. So for this Omni ring, I was debating whether or not I should spend the extra commas on using a transcendence rune, and I decided that if the stats were good enough, I would use a transcendence rune, otherwise I would try and normally mage the spell damage on, because those transcendence runes are a little bit more than 1 million commas each, so they're not cheap. And here I'm trying to debate whether it is good enough or not, and I decide if I can get it just a little bit better, then I'll use the transcendence rune. The Paw Wisdom there crits, that was pretty lucky, and I think that that is good enough for a transcendence rune, so I pop it in there. And that finishes the Omni ring, and we can move on to the next item. So I mentioned at the start of the video that I had to bring the IOPS initiative down a little bit over 1,000 points so that he could go last on the team. This set is supposed to give 2,900 initiative, and I needed it to give below 1,900. So here I maged this belt the entire time with no initiative on it, and I'm just looking for perfect damages, perfect critical damage, and a Transcendence rune for spell damage. And the only sync is heals, so I get it to pretty good stats. Throw the Transcendence rune on it, and we can move on to the next item. So this Turtelonia wand is a pretty difficult mage, and that is because the only source of sync is summons, and it has 3 lines of 20 damage. It has earth, air, and critical. And here I actually miscount my sync and drop an air damage when I wasn't supposed to. I spent 18 sync on wisdom without properly counting what I had used to drop some extra sync before the summon fell off. So I get hunting weapon, and this wand was honestly a nightmare to mage, so I just decide, screw it. There's the Transcendence rune, it's still good, and we can move on to the next item. So I wanted to put the MPXO mage on this Turtelonia Carapace because it has no source of sync, so it would be perfect for an MPXO. And I actually do MPXO it, it took me 10 tries. However, I have the original audio from when the mage landed, and I'm gonna play that and let that explain to you why I ended up not keeping this mage. It was a little bit of a mess up on my part. So here is the original audio.
Ah! Oh my god, I'm missing a crit. Ah! What do I do now?
So to answer the question of what do I do now, I decided to craft a new one and then start maging that one. So I decided not to continue trying to MPXO it because it was very expensive, and I decided instead to go for perfect damages and a Transcendence rune for spell damage, and I would put the MPXO on the hat instead. So here, this backpack is extremely difficult to get perfect stats on because there is no source of sync at all, so it's just cheese maging all over the place. And here, I'm sad that the agility dropped. However, agility is my highest element, so I decided that this is good enough. I was so done maging this backpack. And there I put the Transcendence rune on, and we can move on to the last item. So for this Nomero helmet, I decided to put the MPXO on it, and it also gives initiative, so same deal with the Treadfast belt. I am going to mage it with 0 initiative on it, and I actually landed this MPXO in just 3 tries, so that is extremely lucky. I was lucky on a lot of exos in this set. And there you see the 3rd rune land, and that is the completion of the Omni Iop set, which also marks the completion of the entire PVM team. So now we're going to move into a damage test in the Astrub Dojo. Alright guys, I have the Omni Iop here in the Astrub Dojo, and before starting I will make note that I am not wearing the Boar Hog because I'm currently free to play, so I'll be missing an AP as well as 50 critical damage, and I have not yet quested for the Vulbus or the Ebony Dofus, so I'm not wearing those as well. So the damages here will be slightly different than they will be once I get all of that, but this is still a good test of how much damage roughly he's going to be doing. So turn 1, let's just do general buffing spells, and then let's see how much the wand can hit. 2,200, that is quite a lot. And now here I kind of want to test a large damage turn 3. So I'm going to set up like this, and I'm going to do Precipitation here, Zenith. Ooh, 3,800 on Zenith. What? Wow, that's a lot of damage. We can do a Sword of Iop. 1,600. Oh my goodness, this is so much damage. We could do a Pounding for 1k and it dies, and then we could do a Sentence. Wow, that's a lot of damage. That thing died way too quickly. Let's do one more with the range set. So turn 1 again, I'm just going to do general buffs. That was a lot of damage. So now without Conquest, Zenith hits 2,500, which is still a lot, and it's an AoE. Tumult hits about 1,000 without any allies, Destructive about 1,000, Pounding 1,000, Fracture 1,000, Destructive Ring 1,000, and that's for a 3 AP spell. 900. Let's see, Chance spells, that's a melee one. So this chance spell here, 800. So that's still pretty decent. This is a charging up chance spell, 800 on the first charge. Now this is without power. Second charge 700, and now with power again. The third charge hits 900, so chance is a little bit lower than the other spells, however it is still pretty good. Sword of Iop, 1000. So the damages in the range set are pretty insane, especially Zenith. And now I want to test the close combat damages as well. I'm going to throw on a close combat shield. I'm also going to throw on Abyssal Dofus just to get the AP that I'm missing from the Boar Hog, because I will be melee and it is important for melee combos. So here, yeah, we can take Wrath and maybe Sword of Fate, Outpouring, and Accumulation. That sounds pretty good to me. So let's do that. And then because we have Wrath, let's see, should I do a Blitz turn? Yeah, we'll just do a Blitz turn. So this is 1500 on charge 1, and then Sword of Fate would be 900 on charge 1. So let's start charging up our damages now. One of those didn't crit. So I'm going to go for an all-out next turn, and we're going to see just how much damage I can do. So we can do this. We can do Conquest here for Zenith if I end up using that. And I think that's it. I don't really need any other damages. I guess we'll just re-up Accumulation. I don't even think we're going to be using Accumulation. Okay, so now here is the turn 4. Wrath says it can hit 4,000. Wow, 3,800. I wasn't expecting that much damage from it. Sword of Fate. Oh, does this charge twice? No, I don't think so. 1,900 on Sword of Fate. So that's 3,800, 1,900, and then we still have Zenith. It's going to hurt me a little bit, but 3,700. So this mess down here is 3,700, same as Wrath, and then there's a Sword of Fate in the middle. So yeah, that's quite a lot of damage from the Iop. And then also I could be living off of shields when I'm melee like this, since my HP is so low with the chance spells. So the Omni Iop has so many different possibilities and so many moves that I can make, especially with the Heliotrope portals. The damage coming from this character is going to be insane, and I'm sure he's going to one-shot some dungeon bosses and dreams mobs. Can't wait for that to happen, and I am so excited for him. So I'm now finished maging the entire team sets, and that means that I can start questing for the Dofus eggs and start doing infinite dreams. And it has been a long time maging these sets, so I'm so excited to be able to enjoy them now. And this has been Ability, and I'll catch you guys next time.